Once again, welcome everyone, and thanks for taking the time to celebrate the summer with us. Before we kick off, we would like to present ourselves to those who don't know us yet. We are the product team at Precursive.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Precursive.
Hi, I'm Kate. I am the head of product at Precursive.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm a product manager at Precursive.
Today we are going to start with a quick look back at the spring release. Then we'll move on to a live demo and show you what's new this summer. At the end, we would like to share with you how we see the future of our platform. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to drop them into the Zoom Q&A panel and we'll answer them at the end.
So today we're going to be sharing what's new in summer 21 across all Precursive products. And as these products are new to many, I want to start with a recap. So Precursive onboarding experience is all about building repeatable onboarding playbooks and project management. Precursive OBX help you manage work for each customer and project, collaborating internally and with your customer. Precursive resource capacity optimization is all about project resource management. Precursive RCO provides the view of your team's availability to plan and allocate resources, forecast capacity, and identify capacity crunches. Precursive RCO is focused on customers who are looking to plan and allocate their teams and forecast projects. Then we've got the Precursive professional services experience, which extends all that capability from RCO, helping you to ensure each project is successful and profitable. With Precursive PSX, you not only stay on top of your team's capacity and utilization, but also project budgets, costs, margin, and expenses for your professional services projects. Precursive PSX is focused on professional services businesses where managing project financials and billing is essential. So together, these products make up the Precursive platform, which helps your teams to ensure each customer's realized value of your products and services faster.
So let's have a quick look back at what we've released during spring. From Precursive OBX, that was board insights and health. Really helpful in mitigating risks, logging issues, and updating your teams on the status of the project. These two features were followed by a new version of the reports and dashboard package to help in tracking those from the start. In Spring, we've also enabled the configuration of the column fields in the plan view and the export of those to an Excel sheet, so that you can easily share your project plan with a visual representation of the project timeline with your colleagues and customers. Most of you have been already automatically upgraded to this version. If you opted out from push upgrades, it would be good to upgrade to this version to take advantage of all of these features.
On RCO and PSX, we have extended the data model for resource requests to enable forecasting the demand based on the selected time range. Now, when you open the forecast demand dashboard, you have a full overview of your demand versus the capacity of your team. So you can better predict the future and identify any potential bottlenecks. We also have released the first version of billing, which allows to generate invoices based on the live timesheet and expenses data collected by our platform. Together with that, we have added major improvements around cost rates and custom fields in the participant model so that you could control the access to those using the standard field level security on Salesforce.
Let's now see what's new this summer and on what our team was working on in the last couple of weeks. On OBX, we really focused this time on two themes: powerful project management and customer collaboration. We strongly believe that being more organized and collaborating with your customers is the key to deliver their expected outcomes on time. Today, we will show you how to run your projects like a pro.
On RCO, we continue to work on the best fit insights theme, which is essentially bringing the resource and capacity management of your team to the next level. This time, we introduced a way of looking for resources that are closest to your project site. We are also constantly improving the way you can configure and adjust our tool to your own business needs. So in the summer release, you will find some great improvements made in Precursive HQ. As we heard from you how the time categorization is important in your professional services businesses, on PSX, you'll find new timecode settings that will help you to make up the complete picture of utilization in your team. So now, let's stop for a moment as we would like to share with you how we see the future of onboarding and professional services. At Precursive, we believe that offering great technology or services isn't enough to keep your customers for life. You probably already heard us talking about how focusing on your customer expected outcomes and building long-term relationships with them is really important. The problem is that understanding what are your customers' expectations isn't easy. Different people might have a different vision or definition of the value. Making sure throughout the project that all stakeholders are on the same page with what is the expected outcome and what needs to happen and when is really key. This can help you avoid massive problems either with your customers' engagement in adopting your solution or with recognizing the value you have provided them. But how to achieve that when traditional projects usually require only maximum 4 touch points with your customers? How to provide this kind of full visibility, set up expectations, and keep the customer engaged? Well, I think this summer we've got that answers for you, but we'll share that at the end of the live demo.
Let's have a look now what we have built for you. In any kind of planning, understanding what needs to be done and when is crucial. When it comes to more complex projects, it becomes very difficult to organize the work in an efficient way. It often happens that some pieces of work are falling behind or are being missed. Work breakdown structure can help you organize the tasks in a more granular way, so that it's easier for your team to manage, but also it could help them to reduce the risks that something will go wrong. Following our theme of powerful project management, which aim is to provide powerful solutions for managing larger, more complex projects, we've introduced a new way of managing your tasks and dividing them into smaller chunks of work. On the plan view, this is how the main change looks like. Instead of 2 levels, you are able to decompose certain tasks into 3 levels of tasks that are parent task, task, and subtask. As you can see, there are gray bars that have tasks below. On that view, it means that task schedule, so start and end dates, are calculated and taken from the level below, as it was previously when we had only 2 levels. To navigate through them, you can use plan view as before. Reach out to right side pane to see tasks on level below and to navigate between tasks using that place too. On board view, things get even more interesting. Diving deeper into certain tasks structure is clear thanks to enhancements that we did in summer release, such as navigation between levels and breadcrumbs. Thanks to that, you can treat tasks on different levels like small projects, so instead of creating related board for only a few tasks, you can use work breakdown structure to manage them efficiently too.
Once you have your project plan well organized, it's time to find your project team. It seems easy when your organization is not too big, people have similar skill sets, or your projects don't require any traveling. But what if they do? The distance between the project team and your customer can have a huge impact, not only on the travel costs, but also on the success of your project and your team's work-life balance. With proximity search, you can easily find out which of your employees is closest to the project site. All you need to do is to provide addresses for your employees and projects. Once that it's done, when you look for your project team using the resource request assignment on Precursive Plan, you can define what distance the person should be from the project. In this case, I would like to find someone who is within 300 miles from my project. Precursive automatically search for people with that role and within that distance. This filter checks the direct distance, but you might also want to check what would be the driving distance. To do that, you can check the map. This will open the unique link to the route between the project phase and the person's address. For professional services companies, understanding how the time of the team is planned and spent is really important. That helps to understand how the business is doing and what can be improved. That's why utilization is something we all care about. Most businesses look mostly at the billable and non-billable time, as this directly affects their financial figures. Not all non-billable time is equal. Sometimes a non-billable activity can actually contribute to your productive time. An example of time that is non-billable, but is definitely productive, is the pre-sales activity. You might want to exclude this time from the project revenue, but be included in the time, cost, and individual's productive utilization. You might also want to exclude some of the time from the resource availability. An example of that can be the annual leave or the sick leave. With the summer release, you'll be able to define more precisely how you want to categorize this time within your organization, just using the new possibilities of time codes. All you need to do is to define which of your time codes should be considered as productive or to be excluded from availability. Once your time codes are set up, all you need to do is to assign them to your projects, phases, or activities. This will help you and your team to learn at a glance how you spend your time. We are constantly improving our Precursive HQ to let you set up your organization with ease. We have migrated the Precursive HQ page into a Lightning App page, built from two major Lightning Web components. We have two new tiles for setting up email reminders and time codes. We've also improved the color coding for Precursive Plan. So now you can see what is the color selected for the project category and booking status straight away. There's also a new section for critical upgrades, where this time we have added the rebranding of Precursive to Precursive PSX, which can be done by pressing this button here. And with the next release, we'll add even more to that.
In the beginning of this year, we've introduced milestones and milestone measures to help you define key dates in your process and measure the time between them, like time to value. In this summer release, you will find a new milestone timeline component, which visualizes the project's progress, both for achieved, ongoing, and future milestones, based either on the complete or forecasted end date. This will help you to understand where you are in terms of the value provided and what else needs to happen to meet your customers' expectations. In this example, you can see multiple milestones that are linked to tasks in this project. On the timeline, you can find complete dates in green, if and when certain milestones were achieved already, or end dates forecasts in blue for each of milestones that are not completed yet. Having overview on dependencies between milestones in one project is really important, so that below the timeline, you can find number of days between each of them, and in case more details are needed, you can even dive deeper into details of certain milestone and navigate to linked tasks. As Kate mentioned at the beginning of today's session, setting up clear expectations about the outcomes of a project and keeping your customers engaged in the process is really difficult. This is something everyone working in onboarding and project management has experienced in their careers, but also something we've heard from many of you. This was part of the reason why we introduced the possibility to assign contacts to boards and tasks last year. But let's be honest, that was mostly helping teams internally in terms of knowing who from the customer side is responsible to deliver some part of the project. Thinking about an ideal world where your customer can be clear about what's going on the project and can be fully engaged, we've built a new solution that will help you collaborate with your customers in one workspace. Let's start from the moment that you are all aware of: contact assignment to board and tasks. Making contacts board team members or task contributors is the first step towards closer collaboration through customer workspace. Instead of using external sharing functionality and sending an URL to read-only board to your contact, now you will be able to invite them to collaborate on certain projects with your team. First thing is that we need to make certain board visible in community. Then, from that list, you are able to see all contacts that are board team members on certain board and invite them to customer workspace. Really important thing is that we wanted to make it as seamless process as possible, so that under the hood, We are creating user account for this contact that will be automatically set up to use Experience Cloud without necessity of other operations from your administrator's standpoint. Once invited, Customer Workspace is offering to your customers an ability to quickly catch up with all projects and tasks that certain contact is assigned to, as you can see right now. Contact can dive deeper into details and see board details, including overall progress, team that is working on this project, list of all tasks, and most importantly, list of all tasks that requires that user's attention. So here is the list of all tasks, and then tasks requiring action from the user's perspective. We strongly believe that project's progress is dependent on many factors, and one of them is your customer's responsiveness. So that we also added ability to perform some actions on tasks to feed projects on time directly into the system where your team is as well. Marking tasks as completed, providing attachments, and sharing details through Chatter. All these things are available out of the box after installing Customer Workspace and configuring it. This interaction is real. You are requesting some file to be provided by your customer. Your customer can upload file through Customer Workspace and mention that through Chatter. You see this message immediately. You are able to download the file, check if everything what was needed is there, provide some additional comments and questions, or just say thank you to your customer and ask for marking task as completed if everything is clear. Because we used Experience Cloud, formerly known as Salesforce's community, as a foundation for Customer Workspace, our out-of-the-box solution that provides most common use cases can be customized to your and your customers' needs and expectations. Use Builder, change filters, add or remove components, whatever works for you and your company. The next feature that is built on the back of the Customer Workspace, but not only, is contact roles notifications, which are extremely helpful as they will allow you to notify your customer when a task has been assigned to them, ready to be taken or completed. Thanks to that, you are not only feeding your customers with up-to-date information, but most importantly, it is happening seamlessly, so you don't have to inform them that certain work is completed by sending an additional email or getting on a call. It means no more status report meetings just to get your customer up to speed. Even if you don't want to let your customers in for some reasons through Customer Workspace, we have a good news for all of you. Contact notifications works also with external sharing.
That was really great. So thanks, team, for showing us that demo, and especially Kate for the awesome demo skills. So with these improvements across all products, improving the way that you work internally and the way you work and collaborate with your customers through the workspace, well, I hope you're as excited as we are about these improvements. So we've been using this milestone timeline internally, and I have to say every OBX customer should start looking at using milestones and the milestone timeline component, as it's a really easy to start and you get incredible insights. I think the customer workspace and contact notifications are really going to improve the way that you work with your customers. And our teams are creating content to help you take advantage of these capabilities as well. Looking at proximity search, that just unlocks completely new ways to improve resource management and resource assignment when your team is working on customer site or traveling for projects. So everything is available from today, with the customer workspace template coming in the next few weeks. And I wanted to take a moment to get your feedback in real time. So the poll is going to pop up to ask you what your most anticipated feature is in summer 21. So the options are the milestone timeline component, the customer workspace, productive utilization, or proximity search. So I'm seeing the results coming in, and they're really quite split across everything. So I think we've got a good mix of people who are using different parts of the product. A lot of interest in the proximity search and the customer workspace, but also the milestone timeline and productive utilization, and also getting some good responses as well. So I think over to you, Kate, and you can take us through the roadmap.
Thanks, Andy. So as Andy mentioned, I would like to take you through our roadmap. As you probably already know, our last release was in May. In the onboarding experience module, this included great features like board insights on health and exporting your project plan into a spreadsheet. Those of you who are using this module only and didn't opt out from push upgrades have been already upgraded to this version. On the resource capacity optimization and professional services experience front, we have released forecast demand reporting, improvements around costs and rates visibility, and the first version of billing. If you haven't moved to the spring release yet, we highly recommend upgrading to it. This summer, as you could see during our live demo, in OBX we have released work breakdown structure, customer workspace, and contact notifications. In RCO, this was proximity search, productive utilization, and the new Precursive HQ page. Our team is already working on the winter release, which we are planning to have at the end of October. From onboarding experience, this will include multiple dependencies, which will allow you to define multiple predecessors and successors for a task. That will help you manage more complex project dependencies efficiently. On RCO and PSX, our main focus will be moving from traditional resource management to intelligent resource management. And the winter RCO release will already bring some great new features around that. First, we'll enable adding the same person to a project with more than one role so that you can easily manage their charge-out rates for each of them. This will really help, especially smaller teams that sometimes require one person to act as multiple roles on a project. What makes us even more excited is that in this release, we are planning to launch great improvements to the process of allocating people to projects. You'll be able to assign multiple resource requests at once and also preview what will be their predicted capacity before you make the assignment. And last but not least, in the PSX part of the tool, for those who use multi-currency, we'll enable assigning rate cards to projects that have different currency than the project and or currency to give you more flexibility. So now let's have a look if we have any questions. If you want, you can still put them into the Q&A panel. There's a question about the customer workspace. Maybe Andy, you could answer that. How can I get access to the customer workspace?
Yep, okay, that's a great question. So to start working with the customer workspace, you'll need to be upgraded to at least the Spring 21 release, which most customers have already been upgraded to today. In the coming weeks, we're going to be releasing an experience template to help you get started. That's something you'll be able to install into your Salesforce environment and create a new experience, or what used to be called a community, based on a template looking very similar to what we showed you today. We're also going to be publishing some great documentation on this topic, including rollout strategies. So look out for those over the coming weeks too. You will, however, want to speak to your customer success manager to discuss additional licensing requirements for the customer community. So there is specific licensing required for your customers who are going to be accessing the workspace and collaborating on the tasks and projects with you.
Okay, there's another question. When can we upgrade to the summer release? So I can take this one. So basically the release is already available. Tomorrow we'll be sending a follow-up email with the recording of today's webinar, together with the link to our blog and release notes. So from there you can learn about the details, how to make the upgrade for yourself. Cool. Another question, what are the types of the notifications that the customer can receive, and what types of information are included in those emails? Matt, would you like to take this one?
Sure. So we basically reworked the same events that we used for internal notifications. So we are sending email notifications to contact users when certain task is assigned to them, when it's ready to be taken, or when it's completed. So these are three events that are triggering this email notifications being sent. And what type of information? So we are including their task name, board name, account information about opportunity if provided, some details about the schedule, and an ability to redirect to this task directly for the external sharing or the customer workspace.
Thank you, Matt. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank you all for joining us today, first of all. I hope you enjoyed the webinar and the new features that we've shown. As we really value your opinion, just a quick reminder that if you would like to speak with us and share your thoughts about our tool or share any feature ideas with us, just write to us at productteam@precursive.com. We'll be more than happy to get in touch with you. Also, stay tuned for our customer success and product newsletters, as we will be sharing in them some great tips, product updates, and best practices. So once again, thank you for today, and see you in October.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.